President Trump has just rejected a $15 million settlement offer from Paramount, the parent company of CBS, over a lawsuit stemming from their infamous 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris. And the reason for the lawsuit? Intentional media manipulation. You're about to see the proof for yourself. Both versions of the clip. This scandal isn't just about journalism, but about power, politics, and narrative control. Welcome to Nellie Miranda.
Anger and frustration are mounting after President Trump reportedly declined Paramount's offer to settle the $20 billion CBS 60 Minutes lawsuit. Paramount was prepared to cough up $15 million, according to an exclusive Wall Street Journal story. Trump's team wants them to bring more than $25 million to the table, along with an apology, or it's no deal.
To make matters worse, media advocacy group Freedom of the Press is threatening to sue Paramount and its chair, Shari Redstone, if they settle. The group sent Redstone a warning letter, even as she is in the middle of trying to push through an $8 billion merger with Skydance Media. The group writes, corporations that own news outlets should not be in the business of settling baseless lawsuits that clearly violate the First Amendment.
As a reminder, President Trump is suing CBS over their 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris, which he says was deceptively edited. CBS has firmly denied the allegations, but fallout from the lawsuit has caused multiple people at the company to step down from their roles.
Back in October 2024, CBS's 60 Minutes aired an interview with Kamala Harris in the midst of mounting global pressure surrounding the Israel-Gaza war. Harris was asked a direct and vital question: should Israel be allowed to defend itself? Seems simple, a yes or no question, maybe with a line or two defending your yes or no. But what Kamala Harris actually said was anything but clear. I'm going to play the clip, and it goes back and forth between the edited version and the unedited version. Take a listen.
The work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles. Well, let's start with this. On this subject, the aid that we have given Israel allowed Israel to defend itself against 200 ballistic missiles that were just meant to attack the Israelis and the people of Israel. And I think that is the most recent example of why what we do to assist in their defense around military aid is important. And when we think about the threat that Hamas, Hezbollah presents, Iran, I think that it is without any question our imperative to do what we can to allow Israel to defend itself against those kinds of attacks. Now, the work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles, which include the need for humanitarian aid, the need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire. We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end. The work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region. And we're not going to stop doing that. We are not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Her original answer was halting, ambiguous, and word salad-ish at best. She appeared uncertain, talking in circles like she usually does, and eventually landed on what sounded like a rehearsed talking point. But what CBS aired in the final 60-minute broadcast was obviously an edited version. CBS cut out the first part of her rambling response and polished it up to make her look decisive, coherent, and even presidential. That's not just editing. That's narrative laundering. President Trump noticed, and he wasn't having none of it.
Well, CBS did something that was amazing. Kamala was unable to answer a question properly, and they took the question that they asked and they inserted an answer. They gave her an answer. This was 2 days before the election, right before the Sunday night before the election. And they wrote out they put her words from another question that was asked about a half an hour later, and they put that into the question. Nobody's ever even heard of it before. Nobody's ever heard of anything like this before, but they then did it, they say, on numerous occasions. And the FCC is looking at it very strongly, and everybody's looking at it, but nobody's ever seen anything. Think of it, they took her answers and they changed them. And I don't mean they changed a word or two, or they cut off a half a sentence, or they cut off a couple of words. I mean, I've had that happen too, but that you just say, then they say, well, we want brevity. We wanted to do it for time. They took out her answer and they inserted an entirely different answer that made her sound competent. And they did this, and nobody's ever, I thought I've heard of everything when it comes to that stuff. No, I've never heard of it. Nobody's ever seen. So we sued, and we are in discussions of settlement.
In January 2025, Trump filed a $20 billion lawsuit against Paramount Global and CBS News, claiming that they intentionally edited Harris's remarks to deceive the public and interfere with the 2024 election. See, this wasn't just about Kamala looking good. This was about manipulating voters. But fast forward to today, Paramount has offered Trump $15 million to make the lawsuit go away, and Trump refused. Why? Well, because he says this wasn't about money. It was about accountability. He's demanding $25 million at a minimum and a public apology from CBS News for what he calls intentional election interference. Now, here's where things get a little bit more interesting. Paramount is trying to finalize an $8 billion merger with Skydance Media, and Trump's lawsuit is complicating that timeline. So CBS is doing damage control by offering hush money, because that's what it looks like to me anyways. Internally, the walls are cracking. CBS News President Wendy McMahon and 60 Minutes executive producer Bill Owens both resigned following pressure to settle the lawsuit. Owens reportedly said, "I will not apologize for anything we have done."
The head of CBS News, Wendy McMahon, announced this morning that she would leave the network. In a statement, McMahon said, quote, "It's become clear that the company and I do not agree on the path forward. It's time for me to move on and for this organization to move forward with new leadership." Now, this move comes one day after the season finale of 60 Minutes, the network's marquee program. It's at the center of a $20 billion lawsuit filed by President Trump over an interview with Kamala Harris last fall. CBS's parent company, Paramount, has been in talks to settle the suit ahead of a potential acquisition.
Meanwhile, Leslie Stahl, who's had her share of run-ins with Trump, confirmed that CBS staff were already on the verge of a mass resignation over the company's behind-the-scenes capitulation. So let's get this straight. The network edited a sitting vice president's answer to a foreign policy crisis. They're accused of doing it for political reasons, and now they're losing executives trying to cover it up. Let's be very clear here. This isn't about bad journalism. This is electioneering with the press pass. It confirms exactly what people with common sense has been saying for years. Legacy media is not neutral. It is narrative driven. They will cover for Democrats. They will polish the image of failing candidates, and they will go to extraordinary lengths to frame Republicans as dangerous, unstable, or unfit. Whole time, they covered up for a sitting president who was mentally unfit and getting lost in a closet. Imagine that. Kamala Harris's word salad wasn't just embarrassing, it exposed her unpreparedness for the Oval Office. But instead of letting the American people see that for themselves, CBS stepped in with a political makeup brush and tried to give her a national makeover. However, President Trump is still pushing forward with the lawsuit. He's rejected the hush money and called for transparency and put the media and other big corporations on notice. This is more than a legal battle. This is about restoring faith in journalism or exposing it once and for all. It's baffling the lengths that they would go. It's the classic move of don't believe your own eyes or ears, because I will tell you what you heard and what you saw. Just turn your brain off and let me think for you. That's absolutely ridiculous. And if we don't call out this kind of manipulation now, it'll only get worse in 2026. Do you think CBS intentionally altered the interview? Should Trump have taken the money, or is demanding an apology the right call? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if honest commentary brings you value, please make sure you like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.